Are you aware of how precious life is? Our actions really make a difference in this lifetime. Our position, our place in this world matters and means something. There's something to be explored here. We are all extremely blessed to be human, to have sight, hearing, touch, smell. Life is so precious. All of us have a life force and energy. These are actual terms that go on for our bodies. I have my yoga teacher training book here in front of me, and I'm going to be reading a few paragraphs. But I just wanted to come on here and talk about a few points that I have written down. You might be wondering why I'm on here, why I'm videotaping myself talking about things that I believe strongly in. And this is a great way for me to get practice speaking and articulating my vocabulary. So I mean what I say and I say what I mean. It's a great way for me to get practice in front of the camera. These are all benefits to having your own video, having your own podcast, having your own talk show. You learn day by day. So I thought about titling this podcast Things You Don't Learn in School, because these are all things that I didn't learn in school. I didn't learn when I was growing up. And I just wish, like, this podcast, this video is a representation of what I would say to a younger me. It's who I needed to teach me at that time, or who I wish taught me. These are the things that I needed to hear. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about was my walk earlier today. I went for a walk around my neighborhood, and in my neighborhood, the houses are pretty close together. I live in a townhome, so my home is connected to another home. And a lot of people around here do various jobs. I'm not sure what they all do. But I feel so badly for the dogs that get left at home all day. I don't know how many dogs there are out there, but I'm just bringing awareness to dogs that are left home all day by themselves. I don't even know if that's what happens, or if they have a dog walker come in and let the dog out. But I was out walking. I had just hydrated my body, so I drank like 3 or 4 glasses of water before I went out on the walk, and I really had to use the bathroom by not even halfway through the walk. And as I was walking by some of these houses, there was one dog in particular that just barked nonstop. I heard it while I was approaching, and I heard it while I was walking away. And I just thought maybe this dog is trapped. Imagine if you were left home all day and couldn't use the bathroom. You're not hydrating yourself properly, you're not getting enough sunlight, enough exercise, enough fresh air. So that leads me to my next point about doing no harm. And it's one of the yamas and niyamas. So I'm looking right here, yamas. The first yama is ahimsa. Ahimsa is non-violence. Minimize the amount of harm you are causing to others in thought, word, and deed by becoming aware of the ways in which you may bring suffering to others. This is the reason many yogis choose to practice a vegetarian diet. They believe that a plant-based diet creates the least amount of harm to the planet and to other sentient beings. Patanjali's Yoga Sutra says, when you are established in ahimsa, others will stop harming you. Wow, others will stop harming you when you are practicing non-violence. I love this. I love this so much. These are really things that we need to hear today. So ahimsa, non-violence, doing no harm. When you cause harm to any being, any being that has feelings, so that includes dogs. And this is a practice. I mean, we're not gonna just change one major thing about us overnight. It's just a practice non-violence. And that's where presence comes into play for me. So adapting presence as a lifestyle. I feel like when we are present, we can notice if we are doing harm. Presence means being in this moment right now. Not worrying about today, events of earlier today, events of later today. We are in this moment right now. We can be aware of this second in time. And something I was thinking a few days ago, I even said to my friend was, we were out on this walk and I said to her, imagine we can become aware of the millisecond. We can become aware of the time it takes for an ant to take one step. We can become aware of just the smallest, quickest things that happen in our world, and practicing that presence. Asking yourself, what energy am I giving off? What verbiage am I using? What body language am I using? How am I treating myself? How am I talking to myself? How am I talking to others? These are all things we can do to become more aware and present. We can figure out what was that we just said and become aware that maybe we didn't mean that. Maybe we need to think a little bit before we say something. presence just helps you become more in tune with yourself and things around you. And I believe it's very important. It's not possible, I don't know if it's possible to be present all the time, 100% of the time. You don't have to be present 100% of the time. But it is a practice, and it is something that some people work towards being 100% of the time, because it is something that those people enjoy being in that state. People can get a lot of benefit out of being in that state, can feel like they live better, feel like they are better, feel like they show up better for themselves and for other people. So my next point on here is another one of our yamas and niyamas. So this one, I believe, is a niyama. Let me tell you what yamas and niyamas are. Yamas. Patanjali, he's an ancient yoga instructor, very famous. A lot of yoga teachings come from Patanjali. Patanjali's Yoga Sutra lists 5 yamas, or restraints, which apply specifically to how you behave outwardly towards beings. So restraints. Think some restraint that you have to put on yourself. It's not going to be easy. It's a form of discipline. And ahimsa, non-violence, not being violent towards others, is a restraint. Niyama. Patanjali's Yoga Sutra lists 5 niyamas, or observances, which apply specifically to how you conduct yourself on a more personal level. So, yamas are things we can do outwardly towards others, and niyamas are things that we can do within ourselves. So the niyama that I want to focus on is Saucha, which is also the first one. Wow, okay. I guess we're going over the first niyama and the first yama today. All just manifesting through my brain and everything else that's going on around me. Saucha. Saucha means cleanliness and purity. Cleanliness and purity can be practiced on a number of different levels. Sorry, I need a drink of water, so I'm going to get some water really quickly. Okay, got some water. Thank you for bearing with me. So, Saucha, cleanliness and purity. Cleanliness and purity can be practiced on a number of different levels. Clean environment and living space. Clear clutter, keep belongings organized, and practice good feng shui. Clean body, clean diet, good hygiene, well-kept appearance. Clean body. Consider the amount and the quality of information you are inputting on a daily basis, and be selective about the books and magazines you read, how much time you spend on the internet, and what television shows and movies you choose to consume. Clean company. Spend time with people who uplift your spirit and inspire you to be your best, and set clear boundaries if you have toxic people in your life. Wow, this is so on point with what I've been feeling lately. I've been working on Saucha for a very long time. And I've learned to love it. It's something you learn how to do and you practice every day, and it's just a great way to live. Clean your space, clean your body, clean your mind, clean your company. These are things that we've heard before, but maybe we didn't know where they originated from. Saucha. Saucha is a niyama. It is from Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, which was established many moons ago. So it really is important to question how much information you're inputting on a day-to-day, what the quality of that is. Television shows, movies, the people you spend time with, books you read, are they aligning with you? Are you consuming the information that aligns you best with who you choose to become? Are you searching for interests of yours, or are you just looking at whatever pops up? I've been learning and taking better care of my social media input, and no, not every day is the same. Some days I'll spend a lot of time on social media, and then usually the next day I will not spend time on social media. So it really is finding that balance, finding what works best for you, and the trial and error. You can always put yourself out there, and nothing terrible is going to happen to you. You don't have to be afraid to try something new or look into something new or put yourself out there in some type of way, because you're just going to learn from it. You're going to learn either you don't want to be in that situation, or you do enjoy being in that situation, and feeling those feelings is a way to learn. Okay, great. We're moving on. Okay, practicing a clean lifestyle. So, a clean lifestyle, something I've been really focusing on. As you can see, I have boxes and clutter in my house. Nobody is perfect, but it is something that I'm working on, and one of my goals is to have my house be exactly how I want it to be. Things put away in boxes, things thrown out, things sold, but I'm taking care of these things a little bit at a time. So it is a process, and that's just my process. I don't feel comfortable with getting it all done right away. I know that I might not make the best decision in that moment when I'm just rushing through things trying to get it done. For me, this feels better. I can breathe and focus on things when I feel ready, so I'm not rushing through trying to move things around while I'm exhausted. I'd rather have the energy to do the things that I need to do and put my 100% energy into what I do. So, this brings me to clearing things out that no longer serve us. This can be a thought, this can be an experience, a situation. You experience something negative. For me, today I experienced the barking with the dog. I take that, I sit with it, I realize what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking, and then I let it go. I take some big breaths and I imagine myself letting go of that thought. I can even imagine the thought in a little bubble up here and just disappearing, or just going away with the wind, or I'll even just go like this, throw it in the trash. I don't know. So yeah, clearing things that no longer serve you. And the way you know if they no longer serve you is your feelings towards it. If the thought is heavy, if it weighs you down, if it doesn't make you feel good, then these are ways that you know that whatever you're doing, whatever you're focusing on, is not serving you. And you can take that moment, clear it out, and say, I don't want this to ever come back. And you can just clear it out, say you never want it to come back, and have a new thought come in. So this leads me to creating the blocks that we create for ourselves. These negative thoughts that might come into our minds, or the mindset that we have when we think about something. We create these blocks for ourselves that don't align with our best purpose. So let me think of these blocks. Some of these blocks that we might be creating are just ways that you think about people. You might expect somebody to say a certain thing, or expect somebody to act in a certain way, or to do a certain thing. But really, every moment is brand new. Nobody is predictable. Life is live. Life is now. And things can change at any time. Any person can change at any time. Anything can happen to that person. So we can't really expect things from people. We just ask them how they're doing, ask them how their day has been, and take it from there. We read energies, we read body language. We can tell when somebody is feeling. We can tell what somebody is feeling by their body language, by their language. There's a lot of ways to understand what a person is going through, and sometimes we need to get better at asking people how they're doing. So yeah, that's how we get in our own way and be our own worst critic and enemy. So we have these thoughts. Maybe we've learned them from other people, from our parents. We've just learned like not to hang out at certain places at certain times. But every moment is different. All those things that you have learned are great, and it's great that they've stuck with you, and they have stuck with you for a reason, but they shouldn't be applied to every single situation. You've learned those things, they've stuck with you, now you can trust yourself and make your own best decision. You don't have to keep holding these negative things in your mind. If you think a negative thing for way too long, it becomes reality. You need to clear that negativity out of your body. You need to push it out. I really don't want to see you walking around with your head down, being negative, talking bad about people. There are ways to communicate without being negative. There are ways to get things done. There are ways to conduct business without having a sad look on your face. There are just better ways of living that aren't so heavy. So stop getting in your own way. Stop being your worst critic. You are amazing. Life is precious. You are here for a reason. Your presence makes a difference. No matter if you're laying in bed or if you're out doing something positive, we will feel the energy. And it's just for you to learn. We're not gonna be who we want to be in one night. Okay, next topic. Using the tools we have. Yes, I love this. Oh, when I was in school and we would have to do a test, and the teacher wouldn't specify whether or not we could use technology, use our phones, use our computers. Sometimes they would specify, but other times they wouldn't specify. And I kind of felt like it was cheating. Like I was being asked these questions to see if I knew the answer, and then I can just go on my computer and look it up. It did feel like cheating, but there are responsible ways to use technology. If it felt like cheating for me, I knew that I was onto something, because some kids you would see would just write down the answer, not even bother to memorize or learn what they're researching and what they're learning. And for me, sometimes I would look it up if I didn't know the answer, but other times if I knew the answer, I would just try my best, write down an answer, and then look it up later and begin teaching myself that way. And it wasn't so much cheating. So I learned to use the resource to my advantage. You could either shut it out completely, go through your questions, write down answers that may or may not be right or wrong, and do that. Maybe you won't learn, or you could just, you get what I'm saying. We have tools. We have tools in life. We have lots of tools. We have more tools than we need. But you find the tools that work for you and you use them. You don't have to use the same tool as I do. And it's actually better if you don't use the same tool as I do, because I can learn from you and you can learn from me. So one example is on social media. So how you can change your bio. You can change the description that comes under your name and your profile. And this just shows me that you can change this whenever you want. One day you can be an acrobat, and the next day you can be an accountant. Like, these are two completely different things that you could just write and in a second and start posting content about, and you can change very easily. So this is a tool on social media that you can use to change your direction, which I find very grateful, very helpful. There's also the delete button. These are all tools. Social media is a tool within itself, but the delete button is also a tool within itself. So I say just use it. Use the living shit out of it. Delete as much as you want. Post as much as you want. Change as much as you want. It's a tool. It's here for us. And if it supports your mission, then do it. If it supports your mission, then do it. If it's aligned with you and who you choose to emit, how you choose to emit your energy, then do it. It's here for a reason. You can use it however you want. People use things however they want. So my next note here is, not everything is what it seems. We are not always right, and there are a lot of things we can't see. Things are always changing. It's time to get better at working with change. Not everything is what it seems. We might not know everything. We don't know everything, and we learn from each other. And what you might think to be true might actually not be true. You might think the earth is round, but it might not be round. So there are a lot of things that we can't see, and we should be open to those things. We shouldn't think that we know everything. There are so many things that we don't know. And we learn on a day-to-day. We learn about ourselves. We learn about our decision-making skills. There's so many things we can observe on a day-to-day basis that involve ourselves, that we can learn about ourselves. We can learn about other things, other people. we're not always right. We have to be open to others' experiences. We don't have to completely accept everything that somebody else says, but being open and listening is another important skill that you can practice and practice while you're present. It's time to get better at working with change. Yeah. We can choose to change things about ourselves. We can choose to change how we do something, the way we're living. And also being open to that changing as well. The change will change. We are just so lucky to have this one moment and to have this one life. That change is just a part of the equation. The weather is never the same. Things are always changing. It's just a nature. It's nature. That's it. Things are going to change, so enjoy them while they last. Truly. Everything happens for a reason. Be grateful for everything, even the bad things. All things we can be grateful for. There's a learning lesson in everything. Everything is here for a reason, to teach us something. And this goes back to Saucha, so the cleanliness. Did you know that spending less time on social media and on your phone is a part of Saucha? Spending less time on your phone, creating better habits. Creating a better relationship between you and your phone, between you and your hand that holds the phone. Our hand is so used to just holding our phone. It sits in our hand almost naturally, and there's something unnatural about that. I know that there's good use for technology, and that's why I'm on here, and I just think that we need to create a better relationship with our technology, and a way that I've been creating a better relationship is by not scrolling. I scroll sometimes, but I think it's unhealthy because we scroll until we can't scroll anymore. It's just addictive. We do it until like we have to go to the bathroom, or we have to get up and do something, or go to work, or get back to work, or we just do it until we can't do it anymore. And there's other things that we should be doing until we can't do it anymore, like breathing and being out in nature and listening to music. So having a better relationship with your phone, maybe finding a platform that works better for you. Maybe it's not Instagram, maybe it's Parler, maybe it's not Parler, maybe it's YouTube, maybe it's not YouTube, maybe it's one of the other many platforms that are out there. So just try and find balance with your phone. Don't spend 6 to 8 hours on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook unless you're creating something. If you're creating something for those platforms, then I say put as much time as you need into it, because you're also working with yourself. You are using yourself as a mechanism to deliver a message. So deliver that damn message. we need to hear more about your message. I want to hear what message you have. So, spend less time on your phone. And if you're spending less time on your phone, you're working with yourself, you're sitting with whatever's going on, you're breathing and you're being. You're cleaning, maybe you have something to do that doesn't involve your phone, but if you don't have anything to do, and you can walk, you can sit, you can watch nature, you can just breathe. You can journal. But it's totally okay to just be a human being, to just be, to not do anything, to just sit, just sitting, just breathing. These are all things that we can practice, because some people don't enjoy doing these things. Some people aren't good at doing these things. And for some people, it would really help them out if they practiced doing something they're not comfortable with a little bit more. I think there's always benefit to doing something you don't like, or to doing something you're not comfortable with. We do these things every day. We do things we don't like every day. We do things we're not comfortable with, some of us every day. But do you choose what you do? Do you put thought into what am I uncomfortable with? How can I be more comfortable with this? And slowly but surely, we will create better habits, better ways of thinking, better ways of moving and doing and building and everything. We'll just create a better us, clearing things from us that are negative, that no longer serve us. Things that we know for sure no longer serve us, and getting rid of them, and trusting yourself and getting rid of that thing, and letting yourself know that you have learned from that thing, and you will move on to the best of your ability. So be kind to yourself, practice presence, breathe. Practice Saucha, cleanliness, stay clean. Non-violence, don't harm others. Take care of yourself, don't overexert yourself. Non-violence also means to yourself. Non-harm to yourself. This is a big one. Most of us have aches and pains from injuries or some way that we've harmed ourselves unintentionally, but we're still the ones that harm ourselves. So let's do our best at non-violence, non-harming, and I'll see you all next time on the podcast. Bye.